I'm going to tell you about the lowest point of my life which I can think about in modern memory. And I have briefly talked about this on a different video, but I'll go over it again here with more detail. It was a few months ago and I traveled over to my friend's city where he was staying, and I was meeting up with a few friends. I've known them online for a really long time. And the plan was to go out for a night out and then the next day, like, you know, chill, maybe go watch a film, stuff like that. At this point in my life, drugs were very much so on the table in terms of going out. I was quite looking forward to the drugs, and fuck me. Ugh, it's sad. At this point in my life, drugs were very much so on the table for when I was like going out for nights out. There were definitely plans to indulge in lots of drugs for that weekend. I arrive and, you know, it's chill, having a good time with friends, and, you know, the night's rolling in, we're getting like hyped up a little bit, we're doing some smoking, drinking, about to leave the house, do a key of cocaine. Cocaine was the drug of choice for that night. I had a bag of cocaine. I snuck it into the club that we went to, and periodically throughout the night when I felt like I needed a bump, a boost to my energy, I would sneak off to the bathroom and yeah, do a bump or two of cocaine. Now for me, the night was going pretty well. The night was going like to plan. However, there was a bit of drama between my other friends, so they took off quite early. But I actually stayed with one other friend of mine, and we just carried on, you know, chilling, talking to some girls. Not really dancing, to be honest, because it was like very much so a normie club, and I don't know, just playing fucking white girl music like Taylor Swift and shit. Like, come on, man. I can't boogie to that. I can't even boogie to that while on cocaine. All right, Taylor Swift, low-key though. I would just never show it in public. Stay there for a while. 3 a.m. rolls round, and, you know, it's time to go back. So we leave. We actually walk back home. Had like a 20-minute walk. It was quite nice, quite rejuvenating, get some cold air on you. Arrived back, and my friends who had left early were still awake. They were just sort of chilling in the lounge, doing balloons and ketamine. Every time I've tried ketamine at this point, I had always been out in like a rave or a club, and so I was always very careful with how much I would do, because doing too much ketamine can lead to something called the K-hole, which is a scary place that you don't want to be experiencing while out in public. I can't really describe the K-hole to you. It can be kind of anything. It can be very scary, it can be very funny. It is something though that you should always avoid while out, because it is so random. You don't know what you're going to experience. It's also arguably quite dangerous, because you don't have any control over what the hell you're doing or saying while you're K-hole. So here I am. I go back to my friend's house. There's ketamine, there's balloons, and here is my prime time to finally experience what the K-hole is in the safety of my friend's house. So I do a bunch of balloons. I'm off the cocaine at this point. It's just balloons and ketamine. I do 2 big fucking bumps of ket. Big bumps of ket. And this ketamine was very strong as well. And I very quickly get fucking shadow realmed. Like, I can't even describe how it felt. For about an hour or two, I blacked out while still being conscious. I don't know what happened. I have an idea of what happened because my friends told me we went and sat outside. I was sat on a bench. I was muttering about SpongeBob, which is kind of funny. I don't know. I think I was probably muttering about SpongeBob because of the meme. Sponge Boy me Bob, I've overdosed on ketamine and I'm going to die. Yeah. I think I was probably muttering that. Completely AFK, out of this world. I was not present at all. At some point, my friends thought I had fell asleep, and they also went off to bed. However, I was not asleep. I was semi-conscious. And when I woke up, I began talking to the people around me. The problem was, those people weren't actually real. They weren't real people. They weren't my friends. I was hallucinating them, and I was talking to them for about half an hour while my friends were actually in reality upstairs in bed. At some point during this, I got like freaked out, and I maybe like got some idea that they weren't real. So I pulled up my phone and I recorded the room, and when I looked at my phone, there was no one there. So this probably, understandably, freaked me out a little bit. I found comfort in my phone because it was the only thing sort of grounding me to reality at that point. So I recorded a few videos about 10-15 minutes long of me sort of just sat there on the sofa, coping, basically trying to like survive and make sense of what the fuck is going on, trying to like get some water, you know, just stuff like that. Like, I was so shadow realmed that it took me a good 10 minutes to be able to like sort of walk over to the kitchen sink to go get some water. I was very non-functional at that point. After a few hours, literally a few hours of being alone and like very, very fucked up, for about 2 of those hours I was trying to throw up. I couldn't throw up. After about 3 hours, I finally threw up into a toilet. I threw up quite a lot, actually. And then after that, I was able to fall asleep very briefly. I slept for like 3 hours. But you might be wondering, why are you telling us this, Sam? Why are you telling us how much of a degenerate you were a few months ago? It's because those videos on my phone are still there. And that experience that I had actually allowed me to view myself in the third person while doing something which I would consider at that time normal. But what these videos actually allowed me to see, once I was not on the drugs and once I had realized like, wow, I just went off the deep end, was exactly what I look like while engaging in these activities. And it makes me extremely uncomfortable to watch them, to the point where I haven't watched them. There's about 15 minutes of video on my phone which is still there. I haven't deleted them because at some point I keep telling myself maybe I will watch them. But there's a good 15 minutes of video on my phone with me slouched on a sofa with white powder all around my nose, mumbling, barely making any sense of anything, with my eyes rolling into the back of my head. It's quite valuable, actually, seeing that, albeit briefly, because you don't actually realize how fucking like damaging this shit is and how bad you look doing it until you can see yourself in the third person and realize, wow, this is not good. And after that experience, after watching those videos, or not watching them but just quickly going on them, looking at them for 10 seconds and then being too uncomfortable to watch them, I have come to the conclusion that this shit's not good for me. I shouldn't do this anymore. So now I want you to sort of visualize this. What are some of your bad habits? Some of mine used to be being fucking curled up in bed 3 a.m. with blue light fucking shining on my face and then wondering why I'm not able to fall asleep. Or sitting in my computer chair fucking jacking off to some messed up porn while being like fucking Hunchback of Notre Dame. Or stuffing your face full of food while smoking weed and just chewing it up until the point that it's just mush in your mouth and you can't even taste the food. You're not present for anything that you're eating. Now just imagine what that would look like if you was to record it. If you was to like video record it on your phone or something, just in the corner of your room while you're just jacking off or some shit. What would that look like? Would you want anyone else to ever see those videos? Would it make you look like a complete fucking loser? If the answer to that is yes, I would look like a fucking loser, then why are you doing it? You want to become a strong masculine man, you want to become a Chad, you want to be like Dan Blazarian, you want to be like Chris Bumstead, you want to be like, who do people want to be like? You want to be like Tom Hardy. Imagine those guys curled up in their computer chair, jacking off. You can't really, can you? They're not doing that. So if you want the results, if you want the rewards of being more like X or Y, then why are you engaging in the habits of someone who is a fucking loser? Your brain is very powerful and your brain knows subconsciously that you're a fucking loser for doing these things. And it can cope and say like, oh, it's actually an okay thing, it's fine. But like deep down, you know that it's loser shit, and it's going to severely hold you back from becoming the man that you want to be if you're engaging in activities which is actually lowering your self-esteem and your SMV. Just because other people can't see you do it doesn't mean that your brain doesn't acknowledge that you are doing it. Literally one of the most important things to me right now is my self-esteem and my self-image. I don't give a fuck what anyone else thinks. I just want to be able to be very comfortable within my own frame and myself. I can't respect myself if I'm engaging in bullshit like that. And it's the same for you too, man. I hope this video is helpful. I hope this video is insightful. If you're not already, join the Discord, follow me on Instagram, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care, guys.